What it do, cuckwads? It's your boy the Hater. And doesn't it feel like wrestling is just on its last leg? I mean, let's think about everything that's happened these last few years. I think one way to really describe what's going to happen and what has already happened is rehashing of AEW. I mean, let's be real. If I'm right, and I typically am, and Jade Cargill wins the Rumble, which I believe she will, then we've got Jade Cargill in the main event for the women. We've got Cookie Rhodes in the main event for men. It's only a matter of time before Lexis King gets us pushed in NXT. Then we've got Penta el Zero Miedo down in Raw now, making a big splash. So it's like, what exactly are we watching, cuckwads? We're watching AEW from a few years ago, just in WWE now. That's really all that's happening. They're just rehashing the same shit. And this is consistent with Triple H not knowing what the fuck to do in terms of booking wrestling. Think about it. What has Triple H been doing his entire time as a booker, even in NXT? The answer is very clear. He has signed almost everybody there is to sign from Ring of Jobber Wrestling as well as TNA Wrestling, right? We're talking, and some New Japan jobbers and a few Mexicans like Sin Cara. You know what I mean? Basically, everyone that he signed has been exposed as a colossal failure. You know, starting with Sin Cuck, also known as Sin Cara, this guy amounted to absolutely nothing. It turns out that just because you're good in Mexico, where 17 people are watching, doesn't mean you're going to be good in WWE. He came in here, he would botch like every 3 moves. We were told this guy was supposed to be one of the best wrestlers in the world. He had a comic book made about him, which really shows how low the level of wrestling must be in Mexico. Sorry, that's the way I see it, cucks. Then we get Hideo Itami. He gets welcomed by Hulk fucking Hogan, right? He comes out there and he says, "Oh, my name used to be Kenta, but now I am the hero of pain, Hideo Itami." At that point, everyone said, what the fuck are we watching here? Hideo Itami is like 5'5", skinny fat. Then they have him, and he gets completely outshined within like 2 weeks with Finn Balor debuting. Another New Japan jobber. And these two midgets, these two cruiserweights, go out there and they bury the Ascension, which are 2 monsters, you know? And nobody gained anything from this. The Ascension was like undefeated for like a year and a half. All of a sudden now they're complete jobbers. They lose their titles. They already lost their titles the week before to like Murphy and like fucking Lee. What was the name of his name? What was the guy's name? Wesley Blake. Wesley Blake and Buddy Murphy. You know what I mean? Like, everyone that I've mentioned thus far is a colossal failure of this business. You know what I mean? Then Triple H started hiring a bunch of people from Ring of Honor. You know, Cucky Owens, Sami Zayn. And these guys, let's be real, they've all been colossal failures. These are all guys that at one point were pegged to be the next big thing, including Finn Balor, Hideo Itami, Bobby Roode. You know what I mean? The only one that didn't fail, and this proves that the cream rises to the top, is AJ Styles. But AJ Styles obviously was a special one. AJ Styles was obviously the best one of the bunch, you know? So then people started talking about how WWE should sign Kenny Omega. And I'm out here thinking to myself, you know, Kenny Omega fucking sucks. He's boring. You know what I mean? Like, okay, he's good in the ring, whatever the fuck that means, right? Nobody cares about if you're good in the ring or not. But let's just say that's true, that he's good in the ring. So what? He's not exciting. You know what I mean? A lot of people are good in the ring. Dragon Lee is good in the ring. The Beast Mortos, which I'm sure is going to be here in a couple of weeks at this rate, is good in the ring. It doesn't mean that they're entertaining. Kenta was supposed to be really good in the ring, but then he shows up, and it's like this guy that everyone in the audience can beat up, and you're like, oh, this is the guy that they told us was supposed to be this big deal? Well, it looks to me like he sucks ass. So, Triple H clearly doesn't know what he's doing, and all we're seeing now are the remnants of people from other wrestling companies, because WWE has made no stars on their own. And the reality is that all they do is they take stars from other companies and they bury them completely. And then they rely on other stars like CM Punk to come back and main event WrestleManias, basically. You know, this is a big problem. It really goes to show that wrestling is at a standstill, that no stars are being made whatsoever, and now we have to pretend that people like Penta are a big deal. Now, I said in my video yesterday, and I meant it, there was a point where Pentagon, in my opinion, was top 5 in the world. That's when he was over and he was good at Lucha Underground. Now he's nearly 40, and he's going to come here with Rey Fenix, who's in his mid-30s as well, and it's going to be them and the Motor City Machine Guns trading wins and losses. You know what I mean? Nobody could possibly care about this. Nobody could be excited about this in the slightest. You know, nothing is going to come of this. The fact is that WWE needs to focus on making a few new stars. Because I was thinking about this a few days ago, Cucks. What exactly can we do specifically to make things work, right? Who are going to be the next few stars? Like, at the very least, when the Shield debuted, you could say, okay, these 3 guys are going to get pushed. And pushed they did. But what about now? Who's going to get pushed now? It's not Carmelo Hayes. That's already been established. You know? So, who's it going to be? You know what I'm saying? Like, the fact of the matter is that nobody in wrestling is worthwhile anymore. So, you can expect more of the same. You can expect this standstill nonsense. Penta is going to be in the Money in the Bank where he's going to lose. That's exactly what's going to happen. Penta is not interesting, and he's not good at this point. He's not entertaining anymore. They're just getting everybody on their way out. You know? So now, like, if you want to watch exciting wrestling, you really cannot go to WWE. Because all they're doing is taking people that we saw a few years ago in AEW. Right? Let's say they signed MJF. So what? We've already seen MJF for years now. The allure is gone. Wrestlers, when they debut, have a short time to get over and to be interesting, right? Before they become like routine people that you see on TV all the time. That's what's happening. Triple H doesn't know how to book anybody, and this can be seen clearly by the fact that they hired Pentagon. I don't know why. You know what I mean? Nothing's going to come of this. We all know it. You know? They didn't even put him in NXT, which, of course, like, you know, you don't put Penta on NXT. He's already over, and he's like nearly 40, so there's not enough time for him and the Motor City Machine Guns to go to NXT. They're seasoned workers. They know what they're doing. But then that brings up the question of how NXT is also screwed. You know, does anyone even watch that shit anymore? I haven't watched NXT in years. Like, maybe I'll catch an episode here and there, but I haven't watched in years because it's like, what am I going to watch? Trick Williams, who can't cut a promo to save his life? Obafemi, who showed up on Raw with his title, and he's like, what did he say? He didn't say acknowledge me, but he said something. He was like, recognize me. Or something like that. You know? And it's like, recognize me. Like, he just didn't know what to say. Because he's not built for this, man. He's not entertaining enough. We need people, like, at minimum, you have to have the entertainment factor of MJF. That's at minimum, to be a mid-carder. You know, we need people who can actually go out there and entertain the fans. They still exist. It's just for some reason, WWE just signs 40-year-olds and other new guys that'll never make it. I don't know what to do with this company anymore, Cucks, but doesn't it feel like wrestling is just done? Doesn't it just feel like there's nothing to look forward to other than gimmick pay-per-views? Like, who is the next guy after CM Punk? Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that CM Punk wins the title at WrestleMania. And let's say John Cena wins the other title, or Roman Reigns wins the other title. Who is the next guy? Who? You know? What, Braun Breaker? Well, if he's the next guy, then maybe have him wrestle a couple of times a month on TV. Instead of having him go in the crowd and Sheamus wrestling. What the hell is happening to this company? You know what I mean? We're going to need to take it a step back and start doing some 25 Reasons videos so we can fill in the schedule. Because there's nothing to talk about anymore. Nothing's happening. It's just like now, basically they've pretty much signaled to us, just shut the fuck up and wait until after the Rumble. You know? I mean, I guess wait for the Rumble itself, because the Rumble's, you know, entertaining. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, what can we do? You know? Wrestling is pretty much done. Triple H has pretty much killed it. And now we can look forward to seeing people that we've been seeing for years in AEW. And then people act like Pentagon is like this big deal. Well, if he was a big deal, then how come for the last 4 years or 5 years in AEW, he's just been part of a shitty jobber group called Death Triangle? He's a trios champion. That's all he is. There's nothing special about him. So with that being said, cucks, take care of yourselves.